Expedition Online is supporting some amazing organizations this year, including Martha's Table, a local DC charity that's very close to my heart, and the Susanville Symphony, which is a local Susanville charity very close to Coach's heart, as well as some other really incredible charities. So to donate, click the link below.
Pretty soon, we're going to hear from David, Robbie, and Simona, our finalists, as they pitch their case to the jury. This is our favorite part of any strategy game, where the power dynamic shifts over to the jury and the members that they have voted out of the game. So they have all the power now. They're going to vote for a winner tonight, and it should be a very fun night. We'll hear a lot from our three finalists, but to get to this point, we had to have had an amazing season, and I think I can say without question, this has been one of, if not the best season we've had so far. Jess, what have your thoughts overall been on this season?
This cast absolutely brought it. I think they have been my favorite cast to date as far as their enthusiasm about everything. Everyone showed up with excitement and just ready to rock and roll every day. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, and Schneidman, you can't just have a good season with good players. You have to have amazing moments throughout the season too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Any moments that stick out to you pre-rendezvous, post-rendezvous?
I mean, we got to talk about the Golden Crossroads.
The Golden Crossroads.
I mean, that was just one a perfect art piece. Expedition Online at its finest. But I think something, and we even talked about whether or not this was possible night of. Robbie and Simona got it together. That was a complete mess, almost turned their games entirely upside down, but they immediately locked it in. And now both of them, who, they were the ones who screwed that up, but both of them are in the finals. That's awesome. That's just just to piece it back together after that, and after feeling like their games were over, incredible work by both of them.
And not only that, but Randy, who's holding on to the ledge by one last finger in that Golden Crossroads, gets fifth place. I mean, you would have thought that would have ended all three of them at some point earlier than they've made it. And here they are. There's a 66% chance one of them wins it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's for a moment of such high comedy, it was that they all figured it out afterwards, and they all played fantastic games. They all played fantastic games, and they deserve to be celebrated for that.
Yeah, and it goes to show that you really can't give up until Jonathan reads your name enough times and says you are officially out of the game. Never give up. I think that's the ultimate thing we've learned from this season.
Absolutely.
Now, we've talked about some moments. Who is both of your favorite players of this season? We've talked about a lot of them all throughout the season so far, but has there been one player that's really stuck out to either of you?
I have been rooting for Robbie since the beginning. He has delivered and then some. He has just so masterfully worked everyone with his social game, and it's amazing that he is in the finals and his name barely came up the whole game. Schneidman's not even in the game, and his names came up more than Robbie's this whole season.
Yeah, Schneidman might have more votes actually at this point.
Truly, it may be possible. Simona's been great. There have been so many great players, but I want to give a shout out to Lady K one more time. I think her ability to manipulate people into doing what she wants them to do and creating an environment where everybody loves her because she's extremely lovable, but is also a little bit scared of her, is masterful work, and I love that she was a part of this season.
Totally. Lady K was definitely a mod favorite. She's been a fan favorite from day one. Had a great hold on the game, and I think that was ultimately her undoing. We talked about the night she was voted out, that, she was just too big of a threat, frankly, to keep her running.
And I think a really pivotal moment was Robbie deciding he couldn't work with her anymore.
Yes, I'm sure we're going to hear about that one tonight at the final Ascent, which...
Absolutely.
Speaking of, that is one thing that I definitely am looking forward to hearing more about. I'm very curious what Lady K's question is going to be. What is one thing that either of you are hoping to see at the final Ascent, whether it's a jury question, somebody backing up their game in the final three, what have you?
I am curious as a whole what David's pitch is going to be. He has on multiple occurrences said that he doesn't know what's going on. He's voted on the wrong side of the numbers. And while I think David's a great character, he's a lovely person, I gotta know what he's gonna say.
Yeah, after the things that I have said about David this season, I want to say I think he's a wonderful person. It has been great to have him on this season. I think the battle here is going to be between Robbie using Final Ascent to make people feel good about him stabbing them in the back, and David trying to be like, hey, that fucking guy stabbed you in the back. Vote for me. I didn't. Simona is going to have a tough time. She has to distinguish her game from Robbie's, and I think Robbie was the face of the alliance. So for her to win, she's going to have to convince people, yeah, Robbie was the heavy, Robbie was the bruiser, I was the brain.
Totally, yeah, we have three very different approaches. We know Robbie and Simona kind of played a similar game, but even then, they both, like you just said, have two different approaches to the Final Ascent and have to make totally separate pitches to separate themselves from each other and David as well, because I do think David does have a shot in this.
Former Green Party members that he was really tight with might champion him on the jury. Mike in particular.
Now, all three of these people are original Team Fishback. And so we'll see if David is able to fully distinguish himself from Robbie and Simona. Because there's a world where Robbie says, this fucking guy was my pawn. It's in Robbie's best interest to not allow David. Like, no, you were not a separate thing. You were, once your entire alliance got wiped out, you were my thing. So we'll see if Robbie is able to sufficiently convince the jury that he was the one pushing all the buttons and David was just along for the ride.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting sell for all three of these players. I genuinely have not been more excited for an Expedition Online Final Ascent since my own season, but what can you say? We've had the Black Party curse this season. Jack played a record 6 compasses, played and misplayed. We got to make sure that we all know that, you know. But hey, I can say with confidence that's 6 more compasses than I've ever found.
Yeah.
Correct. Good for him.
He was also part of a huge bitter rivalry with David this season. We had the double tiebreak Golden Crossroads. I mean, this season truly had it all. This season had everything you could want out of an Expedition Online season.
Plus, we had Stephen Fishback and Coach to tie it all together.
What can we say about them? Fishback was even
The Wizard and the Dragon Slayer! The Wizard and the Dragon Slayer!
That is a perfect way to start this Final Ascent. I think we have plenty to get to. There's going to be a lot going on tonight. But with all of that, let's start to tie a bow on Season 5 here and send it over to Jonathan for our Final Ascent.
Guys, I just wanted to pop in very quickly and tell you how thrilled I am for the three of you. I'm truly overwhelmed that it was 3 of my team, but also specifically you three. My first guy pick, my first girl pick, and then my last guy pick. No, but we've talked about that, David. But truly, the three of you, I corresponded with the three of you more than I did anybody else. And, I don't think that was a testament to my advice, but just how much thought and care you put into the game. And that's obviously paid off with your placement here. So I'm just so thrilled for the three of you. I'm really excited. I can't wait to find out what happens. Anyway, I'm really, really excited for you guys, and just feel so proud and yeah. It's cool too because such different games, and I'm looking forward to hearing the speeches.
Thank
and
you.
Anyway,
thank you.
Yeah.
Fishback.
So good luck to all you. Congratulations.
Woo, welcome to the game, everybody. If he plays it, no split.
Okay, yep.
If
Okay,
he doesn't play it, yes split. Because if he doesn't play the steal vote, it means he might play a compass.
Okay, yep.
Split perfectly, 2-2-2. In the revote, it was 3-0 for Cole to leave.
Yeah, I agree to your point also that, if we get rid of Lady K, then, who's the number one target? It's us who's, been in the right positions every single time.
Right.
tomorrow or the day after is indeed decision day. It's decision day where Randy, Robbie, and I make choices because we're the ones with options right now. I don't think anyone else sees that we have options, but having David as an option is like, you know, we're the only people who are in the middle.
In my mind, Lady K, Jenny, or Jack needs to leave tonight. I'm writing Jenny. I think as long as David hasn't leaked it, we're good.
I think I played an incredibly calculated game, and I just have to figure out who can I beat between Jack and Robbie.
We're doing it, right?
We're doing it.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to say, it's really funny how they're all fighting for my vote, like I'm the one with exemption. Like, let's talk about that.
Whoa, no perfect game for me, but that's okay. I don't need a perfect game to win this game.
How the fuck did I make it to the final 6? I've been playing very erratically. I have only voted correctly once.
I am not investing that much time into thinking what other people are doing, to be honest, because it's so variable, and we don't have enough time to really, like, get used to what people's patterns are. Bye. Jack, if no one from Red is there, it's Jack, sorry.
Yeah. I don't think he has anything today.
I mean,
3 shots, 3 compasses. I am playing it on me.
Fuck the compasses, fuck the twists and the turns and bullshit.
I'm gonna vote for Jack because I feel like it would almost be humorous if I didn't vote for Jack at this point. I'm gonna use my extra vote thingy because I have a double extra vote, so I'm placing 3 votes on Jack. She voted for him, I'm pretty sure.
No, she didn't.
Are you serious?
She told Jack the plan right before.
God damn it!
I voted for Jack because I just desperately wanted Jack out of here. He plays compass again. 5 compasses, woo!
If I'm on the jury, you're not getting
I'm kind of hurt by that because low key, if you made it there, I would have been like, yeah, I'm gonna vote for you.
Well, we played 2 different games, so.
Yeah. All right.
You can't compare apples and oranges. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is, Jack.
What do you want me to like?
I think you could try better socially. I'll be honest.
Try. Well, you shouldn't have people telling me to play my compass.
Even if he outlasts me, he will not outclass me.
David has exemption. Can't vote for David.
He told me last night, yeah, I would put you to fire if I win. So fuck you. Sorry, sucks to be you. Sucks to be the last member of the jury. I can't tell you how long I've waited to do this and it to actually mean something. Jack, don't come back. Go to the jury. I have nothing else to say. See you later.
Myself, Lady K, Jenny, Simona, Randy, and Jack. Listen, we get to the rendezvous, and that is majority. I'm going to keep bringing people in, getting this information, and using it. I don't need the advantages. I don't need the compass, because, listen, only a compass can be played for one person, and the vote, you can think the vote is going on you, but boom, we're taking out your number 1 ally. We're taking out this, and we can play around it and take somebody else's compass play and make it a play of my own. So, like, not worried about any compasses, whatever. I am not going to be voting unanimously on anybody. I will make sure that if my name is written down at the crossroads, that my ass won't be the one leaving the crossroads, okay? If I make final tribal, I really need to figure out what I'm going to say to these people. I feel like I'm not a very well-spoken person, and I really want to be where the numbers reside, okay? But listen, baby, I will be with that 6 for a couple of votes while I make the people outside of that 6 feel good with me. But when it's time to jump, I'm going to jump, okay? Right. I think my fear is thinking about where do I fall in that 6?
We honestly don't think that we have a marching order within the 6. Get to the 6 and then bite each other's toes off.
The moment that Lady K said David's name, I just took off my hat and then I turned it backwards. So I saw that David got the hint and David yeeted out of Crossroads, and we went with the backup plan, which was my plan A, which was to vote out Lori. I just found it beneficial to take out someone's extra vote that would potentially not be my extra vote. we're literally doing the dirty work of Lady K and her 2 minions to set Lady K up to win this game. If Lady K goes at 6, we make 5, and then we have me, you, and Randy voting together. Jenny was Lady K's right hand. It's gone. So now you gotta either only work with that left hand, which is Jack, or here I am to replace Miss Jenny. So come on, I need you to need me. I don't want to be disposable to anybody's game, which is why if I see people who are super close, one of you gotta go. Why? Because I want to replace that person. I want everybody to feel like I'm essential to their game.
My fear is that we get to the end and then you outdo me.
You have played a game that has been what's best for your game. Yes, we have been together the entire time, but there's things that you've done for the best interest of your game. There's things that I've done. Like, it's not like we voted the same every time. It's not like we have. Let's get to the final Ascent and just hash it out. I'm not here to make jury. I wasn't here to just make rendezvous. If I'm going to play this game, I'm here to win this game, and that's on that.
Hello and welcome everyone. Expedition Online Monteverde. It's the final Ascent. I'm here with our final 3. Everyone from Team Fishback. We have David, Robbie, and Simona. Ooh, everyone looks very nice tonight. Everyone looks excited, a little nervous energy I'm feeling here. All right, it should be a fun one. Just to talk over the rules of the final Ascent, in a second, Robbie is going to have the decision on who goes first, second, and third. With that, keep in mind that for the ending, we're going to go in the reverse order of that. All right? Each juror will have approximately 5 minutes to question whoever they want. It's up to them who they direct their questions to, who can speak, who can't speak, kind of thing. All right? Robbie, what order are we going in?
If you two are okay with this, David, you'll go first to open. I'll go second. Simona, you third.
All right. Perfect. So, David, take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to see all of you, even though I can't see your faces. First of all, I just want to state how excited I am to be here. You all know that I am a huge, super duper Survivor mega fan, and also have fallen in love with this game. So I am excited to hear all of your questions. I'm going to keep an open mind, as I hope all of you will as well. I'm sure you will. And yeah, so hit me with your best shot. I'm excited to answer every question, but I also want to get into a brief outline of just like the major points of my game, because I know not everybody had a really good chance to get inside my mind. It's a fucking mess. So I'm going to lay it out really clean and simple. In the traditional outplay, outwit, outlast sort of shenanigans. So outplay, I know that we said at various points that like winning exemptions weren't incredibly important in terms of like building resume, but I think that me winning 2 at the very exact times that I did were integral. I was supposedly a big target at the final 10 vote, the one that Lori went from. Apparently the 6 were targeting me then, so for me to leave then was really good. And then final 8 Jenny vote, I was also a target there. I got some votes. Final 7 also got some votes. So the final 6 vote, when I won my first individual exemption, was super fucking important to me because I finally got my name off the table. Finally, allowed me to breathe. But most importantly, the most important exemption that I could win was the final exemption. I had very little faith in myself, to be completely honest, going into that, but I had to do it. And I know I wasn't ever on, team coach, but I felt like the Dragon Slayer. Jack was a huge fucking threat. And I knew when it came down to me or him, it had a huge bearing on the rest of the game. So that exemption was critical. And I'm very happy and proud of myself because it allowed me to get to where I am today. From an outwit perspective, I think that I was able to effectively play the middle by knowing where votes were going to go without like actually having to commit at various points, and that allowed people not to feel burned by me, whereas my fellow finalists did burn some bridges at certain points. And there were times where I intentionally voted for Jack, knowing that he would probably play a compass, so I wouldn't have to draw lines in the sand. A really good example of this was, or the thing that sort of started my whole thinking about this, was the Madison vote. I gathered as many people as I could. I used my double, triple, quadruple fucking vote to try and target Jack, and it wasn't worth it. But it was worth it in the sense that I knew I didn't even have to vote with certain people to know that they trusted me and my word. Like our plan didn't even go through, and they had no reason to trust me before that in terms of like voting history because of the Lori vote. I wasn't even there, but people trusted me just by my word to go with that plan, and I risked my vote. So that was definitely an integral part of my strategy. Additionally, I knew coming into the game, I would have to get along with all types of personalities, and I would also have to mask certain parts of myself. And I felt like when I was on the Green Party, I could be a certain part of myself, and when I was interacting with the Fishback people, I could be a different part of myself. And I felt like I was able to be a chameleon at various points. And something very notable that I want to point out is that Robbie and Simona were together, and their journeys were very similar. I got swapped into a not great position on paper. I was in a 2 out of 5 minority of old fishbacks on a mostly coached party. So it was very intimidating, but I did use that to my advantage. I made great relationships, at least I think they're great relationships, we'll hear tonight, but I think I made great relationships with Mike and Lori, and I tried to play the middle of the road. I think it worked very well for me, and I don't regret the gameplay that I did, and I hope that you all can recognize that I wasn't just fumbling about the entire time. I love Survivor. I love Expedition Online. So,
all right. Thank you very much, David. Let's move on now to Robbie.
Alrighty. Good evening, jury. I first off wanted to start off by saying thank you to you all for such a fun and amazing season. Thank you to production for putting on such a fun and amazing season. I truly enjoyed playing the game with you all, and I cannot wait to connect with you all after the season. So, like you all, I came into this game with one goal in mind: winning. I did not come with the goal to make the rendezvous. I didn't want to make jury. I came to win, and I positioned myself throughout the entirety of the game to do exactly that. As we all know, I'm not the biggest Survivor fan, but I did implement the strategy of Queen Cerise. She said, I might not be able to beat them with this, but I can beat them with this. And I came into the game with that mentality. I leaned heavily into my social and strategic game. I can look at each and every one of you, if you're on camera, and confidently say that at some point in the game, you are an integral part of my strategy, and I would not be here at the final Ascent without each and every one of you. My strategy was to know when to drive and when to allow others to feel like they're driving. I did this by bonding with each and every one of you. My goal was to always find out who your closest allies were and then target them to bring you closer with me. I implemented this with the Lori vote, bringing Mike closer to me, the Jenny vote, bringing Lady K closer to me, and the Mike vote to bring David closer to me. Another part of my strategy was to always keep a bigger perceived threat in the game while positioning myself to not be targeted or seen as a target once the biggest threat was gone. I aligned myself with the 6 because at one point in the game, our views aligned until they didn't. I felt like the plan presented by the 6, if the plan presented by the 6 didn't benefit my game, I was able to pivot on a dime because I was aligned with practically everybody in the game in some way, shape, or form. I made the moves that were best for my game, but knowing that part of my alliance was bigger threats like Lady K and Jack, I wanted to keep them around in the game as long as I could, knowing that people would always target them over myself. Did I make moves that stung at the end of the day? Absolutely, but I also came here to play Survivor. I was in on every vote, and if I did not vote correctly, it was truly just in defense that a compass might be played. At one point of the game, Lady told you all, don't trust Robbie, and I was able to bounce back from that, and people still trusted me and wanted to work with me. Jack was the only person in the game that voted for me throughout the entirety of this game. I was never truly in danger, and I believe that is a testament to my social and strategic game. Like you all, every decision that I made set myself up for the end of the game and to be here at the final Ascent. And again, I truly enjoyed playing this game with you all, and I look forward to your questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Robbie. Let's move it on now to Simona.
Hey guys. So, for those of you who are with me on day one, you probably remember me as more quiet and reserved. And while I'd love to claim that entirely as strategy, which it partially was, I was frankly extremely nervous. Throughout the game, though, I was able to build bonds with each of you, which slowly allowed me to warm up to being myself. And while I'm proud to be my full self in front of you now, I'm less proud of the moment that I felt like I had to hide pieces of myself, and I want to share those with you now. Like most of us, Survivor is a big part of my life. But what you don't know about me is that I've been playing Survivor online since I basically entered high school, and I competed in my college's first in-person season last year. And I would have loved to share that with you all sooner, but I get called a snake bitch in the second episode, and that wasn't really the impression I wanted you all to have of me. Another thing you don't know about me is that I'm studying sociology and information media literacy. I told a harmless lie at the beginning of the game that I was an education major to make myself seem less threatening because I didn't want anyone to think I was sociologically analyzing the game like I was. But the thing that I'm most ashamed of not talking about sooner is the fact that I'm Jewish. I've grown up in Jewish spaces my whole life and have honestly faced a decent amount of anti-Semitism within the Survivor community specifically. And with everything going on in the world, it wasn't something I wanted to bring up. It's not something I've ever been ashamed of. It's always been a badge of honor for me. And so here in a game where we're presenting ourselves, I wanted to share that piece of myself with you all today. So now with all that out of the way, I'm going to tell you why I deserve to win this game. In short, I outwitted by taking calculated risks, like giving Randy my compass and voting out Lady K when Jack could have played a compass on her. I outplayed by setting myself up from day one to make it to be in a middle position at the rendezvous and make it to the end by creating strong connections with people like David, Robbie, Randy, and Jack. And I outlasted by winning exemption, by playing a compass, and by downplaying my game to avoid becoming an obvious frontrunner, and by voting out every single person who has written down my name throughout the game. I think that a winning game is based on being calculated, being adaptable, and making the right moves at the right time. And while my game has flaws, the tactics I use to maneuver myself through the game overpower them. I continuously placed myself in a swing vote position and formed strong social bonds to ensure that I would never be voted out, even when my name was on the chopping block. In my intro video, I said I wanted to build a strong alliance in the pre-rendezvous to set me up for safety during the rendezvous, but still position myself in my alliance to be able to take out the people I suspected to beat me at the end, and that's exactly what I did. I formed a strong alliance with the Six and utilized my day one connection with David to be able to take out people like Jenny, Lady K, Randy, and Jack, who I thought all had great stories to tell at the end of the game. I set myself up this way starting on day one with my connection with David, like I mentioned, and finding a compass clue that I obtained from Rhonda. The next day, when Lori shared the clue with Holden, Jenny, and I already had the compass, but I played into the search to build a connection with them. Then, on the Black Party, I built strong connections with Robbie and Randy and set my sights on targeting Holden next. The crossroads where Holden left was one of the most pivotal points of my game because while it was ridiculously chaotic, I came out of it with two of my closest allies in the game, and because I had exposed a compass that I had, I placed myself in a position where if we went back to crossroads, I was the swing vote, which meant that both Robbie and Randy were vying for my loyalty at that time. They even said they would have wanted me to save that compass for later, though I'm not sure I ultimately would have trusted. To lock in trust with Randy and solidify a number for myself at the rendezvous, I gave Randy my compass the night Greg went home to play for himself. While Randy had a compass of his own and eventually gave mine back to me, I believe that the trust that this showed Randy outweighed whether he used it or not, especially because I was the only person this season to give a compass to another person or play it on anyone else. To further set myself up in the rendezvous, I locked in with the infamous Six. I knew this alliance would provide me the protection that I needed, and the connections I had outside of it and within it would allow me to get to the end next to people I thought I had a chance against, and I believe I did that. On top of that, the final five was constructed of me and 4 people I trusted the most throughout the entire game, landing a position from then until the end where my vote was vied for instead of me being someone who was targeted. Jurors, while I'm not sure why you perceive me, I'm excited to answer your questions and shine more light on the pieces of my game that you may not have seen. I promise you there's a lot there, and I'm excited to see how the night unfolds.
All right. Thank you very much, Simona and the final 3 for your opening comments here. Now, the jury, they have been very eager to get their chance to speak with you guys, especially. So let's not waste any more time. First up for the jury, we have Randy.
What's up, guys? What's up, everybody? Okay, first off, you guys look amazing tonight. Got all dolled up and everything, looking fantastic. I want to say big congratulations to all 3 of you. I think all 3 of you played a phenomenal game, and I'm very excited to see how this. Oh, my bad. I'm very excited to see how this night plays out. So I played my game, kind of played the role of a free agent, and I wanted everyone to believe that my vote was up for grabs throughout the entire game. And whether or not that was true at the time, I believe at this point, it's more true than ever before. I don't know who I'm voting tonight. It is completely open. You all have an equal shot. The past couple days, I've tried to decide whether I want to play my questions in a professional way to see who I want to vote for, or if I want to go to the petty route. Unfortunately, I'm going the petty route. And I always said I was never going to do it, but I am going the petty route. Robbie and Simona, you knew this was coming. Since day 3, we talked about a final 3. Now, whether you guys believe that or not, I'll find out. I'll find that out in a second. But we talked about doing something that no alliance does in any strategy game in 2022 at this point, and that is stick together until the very end. And I put my full trust in you guys throughout this entire game. I think I earned the loyalty. I don't think I never wrote either of your names down. I put your names out there, but I had an explanation every single time. I feel like David is sitting in my seat right now. I feel like my name is on that seat. So I just want an explanation. And Simona, I'll start with you because honestly, your vote shocked me more than anything else when it came down to the final 5.
Yeah, Randy, there are a lot of different explanations that I can give you. I want to start with the point that you made that this is not something that happens really ever, right? These alliances rarely ever actually stick together till the end. And I think the reason for that often is because people in the alliance get threatened by the other people in the alliance. And for me, that was the main reason, or one of the main reasons, that I decided to write your name down. While you tried to downplay your game in some ways, you are an incredible speaker, an incredibly lovable person. I think I speak for everyone here in saying that you're so lovable. And just the way that I knew you would have been able to present yourself at the end was very threatening to me. I also, as much as I was invested in our trio and I had loyalty to both of you, it was important to me to show the jury, especially after our trio got pointed out, that I was playing for myself, that I was not riding just with this trio to get to the end to be like, look, we all made it together, like kumbaya. Like, no, I'm here to play this game for myself, to make it to the end with myself. And that was one of the reasons that I voted for you as well. I felt really bad about it, of course. But there was a moment where you said like something along like I would be like crushed, but I would get it. And in my mind, that was a little bit of a green light for me because it was something that I knew that I had to do in order to solidify like a game move myself. And I didn't know that Robbie would also be writing your name down. I thought that it was going to be a move that I was making without Robbie. And so that was also a piece of it. But yeah, that was a little bit of a green light for me, kind of being like, okay, like, we'll still be cool. But this is something that I have to do. And I was hoping that you would be understanding of that.
So, Robbie, before you give your answer, Simona, first off, thank you, Simona. But Simona shocked me. Yours hurt me because I got to know you more than anybody else in this game. I spoke to nobody else about their loved ones. You know, we were talking about coming down. I still want to hang out. I'm not looking at it like I hate you or anything, but I was hurt by it at the time because you pitched all game. You were so worried, and from what some people here think, jealous that I possibly had Simona as a number 2 over you. But I had to keep telling you, Robbie, you're my number 1. Whether you believed it or not. So when you voted me out, I'll be honest, I was hurt. And I was really hurt and pissed at the time. So I want to hear from your words, from your mind, from your heart more than anything, why that vote happened.
Randy, first off, I do want to say sorry, and I fully expected you to be pissed at me. Your vote for me was truly the hardest vote, and for me, it was simply a game of, like Simona said, we did not plan that together. For me, I started to think about we're at final 5, and we know that it's a final 3. How do I get to the final 3? And for me, I at one point in the game, you're the only person in this game that made me play with my heart more than I did my mind. And that was evident when we were on the Black Party. And I had to put that aside for the final 5 vote and do what I felt like would get me to the final 3. So in my mind, I was thinking, if Randy doesn't go here, or let's say if Randy goes here, it puts me in a final 4 with me, Simona, David, and Jack. That gives me 3 chances to beat Jack. And if Jack does not win the final 4 immunity, then I have a chance to sit at the final 3 because we would target the biggest threat in the game, which is Jack. If you were still there and Jack won individual immunity, I don't know what would have happened to me at 4. I feel like I would have easily been gone or gone to fire, and I made it clear I suck at challenges. I did not want to sit at fire with anybody at 4. So the vote for you was truly just so that I could sit here at final 3, and I cannot say sorry enough because I know we did bond, and I truly cherish those moments where we did bond.
Well, thank you guys for your answer. I appreciate it. I wish you guys the best of luck, and just know I still love seeing the 2 people I consider my best friend in this game and 2 people I hope can be best friends outside this game. There, but David, you're still up there as well. Sorry I couldn't get to you, but best of luck with all of you guys.
Thank you, Randy.
All right, thank you, Randy. All right, thank you very much, Randy. Let's get on to our next jury member. We have Mike.
All right, we're going to get right to it. We have 5 minutes, and I want each one of you guys to answer questions. So let's go. You're up against my oven clock. You have a minute to answer my questions, and I'll let you know when you guys could go. All right, Robbie, I'm going to start with you. I sent you and David to the summit after I won immunity. I wanted to start working with you the second that I first had my first video call with you. You then come to me and say, me, David, Simona, and you are final 4. And I told you multiple times I had your back, and I did have your back, 100%. So why vote me out at final 7 when I had your back, dude? Like, I wasn't going to vote for you anytime soon. What was the reasoning for voting me out? Was it the circumstances of the revote with David and Simona, who you were close to as well? Or was it like Randy that told me on the jury that you wanted me out before that? So answer that, and then answer, how did you treat people like people and not pawns? You have a minute, go.
So first off, I want to say, you said something that really, I listened to reply, not respond. You said I would have never targeted you anytime soon, and you said that to me a couple of times throughout the times that we talked. So for me, I felt like I was not going to be in your long-term game, and the moment that I served my purpose, you would have potentially targeted me, and maybe that was a misread on my part, so I apologize. I was not prepared for that second vote. Randy and I talked beforehand, and we talked about your name to potentially bring David closer to us. We weren't expecting it to be a double that night. So while I was publicly saying, I'm voting for Jack, I heard Randy loud and clear say,
15 seconds.
The plan. Yep, so I heard Randy say, trust the plan, and that's when I was like, the plan is Mike, that's how I need to vote, and it'll bring David closer to me. So your move, the vote to vote you out, was to gain favor with David later. How I treated people...
Time's up. Hey, no, thank you, Robbie. I appreciate that. David, we worked together a long time in this game. Your knife in every jury's back after voting them out wasn't as bloody as some other people sitting here right now, which I think deserves praise. What is the reasoning for that? What should the jury know about your game right now that says, hey, I deserve this sole survivor more than anybody else? Because people are willing to vote for you. We need to hear why.
My voting was completely intentional almost every single time. I'm not going to say I knew exactly what was going on every single second, but I had a really fucking good idea because I felt like I was really well connected, and it paid off. Like, as I mentioned previously in my opening statement, I knew from hints from other people that I could have been targeted at the Lori vote. So I didn't want to be a part of the mess. I also knew to keep my options open. That's why I refused to vote for you, Mike. I said I was never going to vote for you. I never voted for you. The people that I held close to me, I never voted for. Simona, who purported to be my ally from day one, did vote for me the night that you went, Mike. So my word in that regard counted. I never voted for Robbie. I never voted for you. I never voted for Lori. I never voted for Madison. And yeah.
Thank you, David. I appreciate it. All right, Simona. There's one person on last night's jury roundtable that said their vote for you. One person that's not going to win this game. You tonight need more than anybody to go balls out and say why you're going to win this game. You're in the final 3. You deserve it, right? Tell us right now. You have 1 minute to just lay it all out there. And my second question is, what state am I from? Go.
I think that I deserve to win this game because, like I said, I played very calculated from day one. I knew the people that I needed to connect with in order to position myself in a place during the rendezvous stage that would allow me to be part of multiple plans. Like I said, I wanted to vote out people that I wasn't super connected with, and I wanted to not be super connected to some people so they wouldn't feel as burned as like they could have been when I was voting them out. So I tried to keep some people at a distance and keep the people that I wanted to be closer to me. I voted out, like I said, people that I thought were worse for my game and were better for other people's game. I think the reason not many people are willing to vote for me probably is because I definitely played a more timid game during the rendezvous stage of the game. During the pre-rendezvous stage of the game I was a lot more aggressive, and so I knew when we hit the rendezvous stage I had to tone down my game in order to not be targeted, which I otherwise would have been. And so I think that's just something people didn't see. I played the game I had to in order to make it to the end, and I hope
Time's up. Time's up.
really
And
respect.
what state am I from?
I don't know, Mike.
We didn't get to know each other, and a lot of people didn't get to know you, and I think that's going to really not help you tonight. I wanted to be a dick. I love you guys so much, honestly. You two of you I'm close with. Simone I'm not, but I still have so much respect for you, and I just wanted to put the pressure on. So I'm not bitter at all. And I just want to do one more thing. I hope I have time. Close your eyes real quick, all three of you. I'm going to say each jury member's name and vote, and put your hand up if you think they're going to vote for you. Lori. Madison. Jen. Me. Lady K. Randy. And Jack. All right, my time's up. Thank you guys. Honestly, I have so much respect for you, and I'm so happy for all three of you, and I'm so excited that you guys are in this position. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Let's move it right on to Lady K.
Hey, you guys, congratulations. You are all deserving, so that's a good thing. David, I want to start with you again. Congratulations. You kind of gave me a little in your opening statement, but just one thing, one dynamic move for outwit, outplay, and outlast. I was not around in your game. I don't really know what you did. So just one thing for each of those really quickly.
Okay, so outplay, I would say winning the Final Four exemption challenge was integral at getting Jack out. From an outlast perspective, like I mentioned, I was swapped into a very unfavorable position. I really tried to get to know everybody on that party, especially Lori and Mike. I feel like I know a decent amount about both of them because I genuinely care about them. So it wasn't even about the game. I tried to make it about them as people. And outwit, I think genuinely realizing that I did not have to commit yet, and I could still use Jack as a scapegoat because he was so fucking good at finding those compasses. I knew that I could continually throw my vote on him regardless of who went because things were so chaotic. I wasn't going to piss people off, and people still were going to want to work with me.
David, just a word of advice. People are still willing to vote for you. Give it your all tonight. Give it your all tonight. Oh. Robbie, so nice to meet you. I have a quick question. So in a lot of our conversations, well, one most recently, you said and you said it again tonight, I needed to pull you closer. I'm a really selfish player. One name, one person, no explanation. Who was your number one?
Myself.
Great answer. Thank you. Simona, I did not have an answer for you, and I was 1,000% not voting for you tomorrow or tonight or whenever it is. We played this season so outstanding, so respectful, so everything. Why on my vote did you laugh when I left?
I was worried that was something that you were going to perceive. I was not laughing at you. I don't know if you saw my boyfriend was behind me and he was poking at me and whispering things in my ear. And that was the only reason for my reaction, that I was worried that was something you were going to perceive as me laughing at you. And that was not the reason at all. And I'm sorry that you saw it that way. That was not my intention. I have so much respect for you. As I think everybody knows, I've talked about that throughout the game, how much I respect you. I think you're a great player, a great person. And I did not want you to have that reception of that. Yeah.
And I kind of got to go with Mike said too. How many kids do I have?
3.
Okay, good. But also, like you said, I'm not a community activist. I've been in law enforcement for over 25 years. So you guys didn't know that, but I appreciate you all. Best of luck, and you guys killed it.
Thank you, Lady K.
All right, Lori is already up. Take it away, Lori.
Hi, guys. First of all, I wanted to say congratulations to all three of you. Making it here is quite a feat. Second of all, I had some questions prepared for tonight, and in your opening statements, you guys pretty much answered all of the questions that I had for you, so I'm just going to shoot from the hip here. David, I was very close with both you and Mike, hands down, you are the two that I was closest with throughout the entire game. When I got voted out that night, you had some sort of advantage that let you leave. Did you know prior to the vote that it was going on me, or did you think it was going to be split between the two? Like, that was the impression that I had going into it, was that it was going to be split between the two of us. So
Yeah, I had heard three names being passed around. I heard your name, I heard Madison, and I heard my own name. And I thought that it was going to come down to either me or Madison. And when I got into the crossroads, I had three people give me cues, visual cues, to indicate whether or not I should go. Did I think that it could be you? Yes, but I thought that Madison also legitimately, especially after losing Cole and the perception of Cole and Madison and Mike and Greg being a strong four, I thought that Madison also was going to be a major target. So I wasn't 100% sure that it was going to be you if it wasn't me.
I'm glad to see you here in the fight.
Thanks so much.
So Mona, my next question is for you. When you gave your opening speech, you alluded to your game, which I didn't play with you enough, so I didn't really know those things. So I appreciate that you speaking on your own behalf and giving us that information. But there is a perception among some that maybe you weren't maybe necessarily in control of your game. So can you give me an example of one move that you were the driving force behind?
I think it's hard for anyone to take complete ownership of a move because everybody needs numbers in order to make something happen. And so other people do have to be on board. But the night that Lady K left, there was a lot of talk about there being a split and there not being a split. And I ultimately said to Robbie and Randy, who were supposed to throw their votes elsewhere, I ultimately said, I think we need to pile our votes on Lady K to ensure she goes home. And that was the opinion that I solely had while other people were planning to split. And so I would say that that's something that I can take credit for.
Robbie, I don't have a lot of interactions with you, but the ones that I did have were positive. You gave me a tidbit of information prior to a crossroads in which you told me that Jack had an advantage and that he intended to play it. So basically, it would be a ways for us to throw our votes on him, which turned out to be true because he did, in fact, have a compass. There may be a little bad will. Some other explorers may believe that you befriended people and then kind of burned them, and they're a little bitter about that. So I think you mostly covered your reasoning for doing what you did, but can you just elaborate just a little bit more on your reasoning behind how you made the moves that you made when you voted out people who you knew would be really pissed that they were going home that night?
Yeah, so thank you for the question, by the way, Lori. So for me, this is not my first org. I'm normally used to being able to talk to people after hours and bond with people and connect with people. We obviously didn't have that opportunity here. So for me, it was tough to build these strong personal social bonds with you all because the structure of the game didn't lend itself to that. So if we were on an island, of course, I would have been more invested in the personal social game. But from the time we did the challenge to the time that it was time to vote, I was looking at each vote like, how can I advance my game the next vote? Because it's hard to take the time where you're supposed to strategize and the time that you're supposed to do the challenge and try to build these personal bonds with people. Like, those are bonds that I'd love to build after the game is over, and I did have some great connections within the game. But when I was here from 8:30 to 11 o'clock, I was here to play the game, and I hope that you all can understand that and respect that truly.
All right, thanks, Robbie, and thank you, Lori, for your questions. Let's move on now to our next jury member. We have Madison.
Hi guys, congratulations. I said I wasn't going to be petty like Randy, but after hearing everyone's questions, I feel like I need to keep it interesting. So first of all, I would like to say the three of your best moves was getting rid of Jack because literally everybody on the jury was going to vote for him. So good job. After that, I think that 100% my vote will not be going to Simona. I think you just rode their coattails the entire time. That's just my personal opinion. And so I am a little bit conflicted between David and Robbie because of the fact that Robbie lied to me many times. So, Robbie, I guess I will just ask you, like, did you genuinely have my back at any point in the game, or was it just all up front?
So after we took out Cole, I was like, I need to talk to Madison, but I didn't want to talk to you that night because I feel like whatever I'd said would have felt like bullshit. So I waited till the next day to connect, and I truly did want to work with you. The vote where you went out, I did come in thinking, I don't know if Madison will actually work with me or if she'll trust me after the Cole vote. So maybe I should just vote her out. But when I came to you and I was like, I know you and Jack have this great bond and he's friends with your boyfriend, but we have to vote Jack out here. My intentions were pure. I was willing to go against my alliance of 6 to not target you. And I did not leak the plan. I think had the plan not been leaked to Lady K, you would not have gone home that night and we would have blindsided Jack that night. But that didn't happen. That was out of my control. I put the plan out there to protect you that night because I truly did want to work with you, and unfortunately the cards fell the way that they did, and you were compassed out of the game. So, my intentions were to work with you.
Thanks for that. So my next question is for all three of you. So I guess we can just start with David. So like, what is your biggest regret of the game?
Let me first say, I don't regret anything too badly because I'm here and I think that I did a really good job. But if I were to pinpoint anything, I would probably say telling Lady K the night that you, specifically Madison, were eliminated because Lady K knowing that threw everything out of whack, which I really did want to work with you, Madison, especially after you had my back the prior night when you moved your hair to the other side and we shared our Dr. Pepper moments too, but that's besides the point. But I really did want to work with you, and I think I really fucked up your chances by telling Lady K, so I genuinely apologize for that, but I want you to know I went all in when I used that extra vote, and I did not regret using that extra vote for you.
Robbie?
I think being here in the moment, my biggest regret is having the jury and if David or Simona, if anybody feels that I got to know them personally just for a game, I think my biggest regret is not making it clear that I did enjoy those moments with these people, and it's not a great feeling. So I'm really feeling bummed right now, and I think that's my biggest regret is just not making it clear that I truly did value the time that I got to know each and every one of you.
For me, I think my biggest regret or like a point in my game that I've gone back and forth on about is the Randy vote. That night I did have exemption and I was actually really contemplating whether I wanted to vote Randy or Robbie at that point. And I'm frankly still not sure if I made the right choice. I think Randy had a lot of end game deals seemingly with everybody, but I did feel he was loyal to me, at least to a point, whereas Robbie, I felt like more than Randy, Robbie's game was very similar to mine. And so I thought even though Randy's game was maybe stronger in some ways, that because ours were a little bit more different, that maybe at the end my game could have looked more impressive compared to his. So I think that's a point of contention in my game.
Thank you guys. That's pretty much all that I have. Good luck.
All right, thank you very much, Madison. Let's move on to jury member number 6. We've got Jack. Take it over, Jack. Oh.
Woo! Yep, let me get my script. Hello. Obviously, I'm very upset I cannot be there because right away I realized that I would have won by a landslide if I made it to the end. So it sucks, but good job to you all. My question is about your charities. This is a two-part question for everyone. Number 1, why did you pick your specific charity / what is your personal attachment to said charity, if any? And 2, how did you use your charity as fuel and motivation to not only make the end, but win the game? For example, I picked the National Alliance on Mental Illness. I've dealt with that before. I have friends that have dealt with that. And I use that to boost my resilience and fight every single day. I will be able to detect bullshit from a mile away. So even if it's not very deep for you, respond honestly. You all have a minute and 15. I will be timing. And ladies first, Simona, go.
I'm playing for Planned Parenthood. I chose Planned Parenthood because I think their mission, the services, and the education that they provide are so important in so many ways to such a wide variety of people, and that's their services have impacted me personally and a lot of friends. I mean, Roe v. Wade got overturned in the spring, and as a woman and someone who knows a lot of women, that's something that's very important to me and emotionally, and for greater reasons, the other harms that being overturned can cause is really important, and so that's why I chose that charity. And obviously, that fueled me every day in this game. I know I voted out other women, but you have to play a game with the people that you're dealt very early on in the game. I was put on a tribe with all men, so I had to move forward with the people. Sorry, I sound fucking ridiculous. The people that I was on a tribe with, and so that's how I use that to fuel my motivation in this game. Like I said, I couldn't just work with women for the sake of the charity that I was playing for, but I had to play the game that I was able to play, and those were the cards that I was dealt.
Thank you, Simona. David, you are next alphabetically.
So my charity is Cool Earth, and I know that people probably resonate more with charities that relate to people. But to me, forests are something that are very, very personal to me. I am a forest scientist, and a big reason that I'm in the field is because nature has done so much for me emotionally. I grew up in a really forested area, and I also was battling every day with my identity. My parents were very not okay with me being gay. I went through conversion therapy. And the forest was like the one place that I could go every single day where I didn't feel judged and I felt like I could just be myself. And Cool Earth really tries to like incentivize and empower the people who live around these forests to protect them. And nature has meant so much to me, and I know that it means so much to everybody else. Whether or not I win, I encourage everyone to donate and I'm going to try and donate to everybody else's because it's incredibly important to me.
Thank you, David. And Robbie, you were last. Good.
Thank you for the question, Jack. So for me, my charity is Give Kids the World. I had the opportunity to go to the Give Kids the World village last year and experience firsthand. It's about an hour and a half away from where I live, and when I tell you, the environment that's there is breathtaking. I actually have a friend who got to experience what Give Kids the World does for sick people, and it truly felt life changing, even though he lost his life shortly after that. And for me, that's always been such a just amazing thing. It's like a week where you don't have to think about anything but you and your family having a great time. And for me, being able to experience that for the first time last year was truly just like, I was like, I want to earn money for this. And I mean, check the GoFundMe. I'm going to continue to get donations for it, whether I win or lose. I want to continue to raise money for Give Kids the World because I do truly believe in what they do.
That, all three of you, emotional answers that I desperately wanted and needed from each and every one of you. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being honest. Good luck to all of you, and may the best someone win. And let's take shots!
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that question, Jack. Some great charities that everyone's playing for. I love the passion, and I think that's really what makes this game stand apart is that charity component. So I'm glad that everyone has picked a charity that is so close to them, and that we're going to be able to donate to one of those charities. So let's get to our last jury member. We have Jenny. Take over, Jenny.
Hey guys, I wanted to congratulate all three of you. I feel like all three of you really have played a good game. I'm a happy person. I'm not going to do anything mean. I just don't have it in my body. So I wanted to ask, and one of the things is, I'll start with David. If you could, and you have to swap somebody, unfortunately, who would you swap from the final three from one of the jury members? Who would you remove, and who would you add in?
That's a really good question. I know that I would be choosing Lady K. I would probably remove Simona, to be honest, just because I wouldn't have gotten here without Robbie specifically, and I would have felt wrong if Robbie wasn't here. And I would definitely say Lady K. Just from an emotional standpoint, the work she has done has changed a lot of people's lives. I'm trying not to get emotional, sorry, but and I just really value the work that she does.
This is a tough question because I don't want to take away from either David or Simona. And I told you I came here to win, so I definitely wanted myself to be here. But if I have to answer, I would definitely put Randy here in the final three, just because I feel like I owe it to Randy to I would have owed it to Randy. There was a time where I had targeted him prior to the rendezvous, and then the vote at 5 just felt dirty to me. And honestly, I would take David off. I'm sorry, David. I love you so much. And write it out with Randy and Simona the way that we did talk about on day 3.
I mean, I think there are a lot of ways that I could go with this question, but I think that like ultimately I would probably um kind of from a non-game standpoint, but from like an viewer standpoint, I would probably swap Jack with Robbie just because one, if yesterday had gone differently, I think the way it would have gone would have been Robbie leaving instead of Jack. And because I think Jack played, I mean, like someone said, like everyone would have voted for him in a landslide, and I think he would have deserved that. And so from a viewer standpoint, I think I would have loved to see Jack win.
Okay, no, thank you guys, and I really do hope it was a fun time. I think you guys all deserve to be here, so congratulations.
Thank you, Jenny.
All right, thank you very much, Jenny, and the rest of the jury. We definitely had some great questions in there, some great answers as well. I'm interested to see how this is all going to shake down, but before that, let's get to our final comments. As per Robbie's decision at the beginning there, we're going to start with Simona.
The pillars of this game are outwit, outplay, outlast. And I know I touched a little bit on each of these in my opening speech, but I want to go a little bit more into them here at the end. So for the outwit portion of the game, I outwitted in the sense that I used advantages uniquely in a way that nobody else in this game did. I used advantages as currency. I used my advantage to build trust. And while I didn't ultimately end up having like a successful compass play, I believe the fact that I gave Randy a compass was more valuable than that. I organized the split at the Cole crossroads and ensured that Holden left at his crossroads because Cole was someone who voted for me that night and was going to benefit other people's games more than mine. And in regards to Holden, I knew that Randy was someone who was going to be valuable to my game down the line, and that Holden would have been more of an asset to Robbie than he would have to me. And so I ensured ultimately when we had to make a final decision, when I got to say first who I was voting for, I ensured that Holden was the one to leave, which gave me 2 of the allies that were crucial to my game at the rendezvous. More ways that I outwitted were playing a dominant role and sending out 2, like I said, 2 people who would have benefited me or not benefited me at all, and strategically voting, like other people said, for people who I knew potentially weren't going home, or for people who I knew were playing a compass, having a compass played, for example. The night that Madison left, I knew Jack was going to be playing his compass on himself. But because I told so many people that I was going to be voting with them for Jack, I knew my word and my loyalty in the position that I would have in the game going forward was more important than voting for the person who was leaving. I flipped on my allies when it was necessary to secure my spot in the end, and to also, like I said, illustrate that I'm playing for myself and not for any alliance in this game. For the outplay portion, I outplayed through the social game, which I carefully crafted from the start of this game to ensure that even when my name was out there, even when I received votes, I was never going to be the one to leave, even when it was tight numbers at multiple crossroads throughout the season. I had people I was connected to in multiple alliances to ensure I was hearing all possible plans and getting to choose which ones I wanted to be a part of and position myself best moving forwards. And I outlasted by, like I said, finding a compass day 1, not having to use it like others had to because of the social connections that I was able to build throughout this game, by obtaining votes but still surviving them, by winning exemption at a late and crucial point in the game, and sending home every single person who wrote my name down, including the biggest threats in this game. I came into this game being extremely underestimated because of my initially quiet nature, my age, and likely my gender. But Steven saw something in me, picking me first. And so I hope that at this point you can see something in me too. I sit here in front of you all, like I said, as the last woman standing and the youngest player remaining, but I hope that you now no longer overlook and underestimate me. I knew where every vote was going in this game, and at times while I didn't vote with the majority, They were crucial to protect my position in the game, which clearly paid off. I won exemption at a crucial point in the game and voted out one of the biggest social players in the season, despite my relationship to them. I found a compass and used it to further my game by building trust. And I hope that ultimately you can see the game that I played now. When you go to vote in a few minutes, I hope you consider everything that was said tonight. I had had such a great time playing this game with all of you, and I think I would be a great representative of this season.
All right, thank you very much, Simona, for that. Robbie, you are up next.
All right. I'd like to again start off by saying thank you all for such a fun and amazing season. Thank you, production, for putting on such a fun and amazing season. I truly want to apologize to anybody that I might have hurt. At the end of the day, this is, while it's just a game, it's more than a game. When we have feelings and stuff involved, I did not come into this game with the intentions to hurt anybody. So if I hurt you, I truly am sorry, and I'd love an opportunity to talk after it. I hope that when you go to vote tonight, that you think about the game played. If when you go to vote tonight, think about Survivor. I truly came into this game with the goal to win. I was Fishback's very first pick, and I think I made it clear in my video that I came here to play the game, which is why Steven picked me, and that's exactly what I did. Think to yourself, did I ever trust Robbie? Did I ever work with Robbie? Was Robbie ever a key part of my game? And if the answer is yes, then I think that I deserve your vote because I played the game that we all came here to play, which is Survivor. And I might not have been the most heroic person. I might have voted people out after having this great moment with them. And if that felt dirty to you, then I truly do apologize. I never saw people as pawns versus players. I did do what it took to get my game to the next vote. But if we had a genuine moment, that was genuine. I could literally list things off about each and every one of you because we did have those bonding moments. And that's what's important to me. At the end of this all, I hope that we're friends. No matter how you vote tonight, I hope that we can walk away from this experience as friends because that's what's important to me. But I do hope that you have an open mind when you go to vote tonight because I do feel like of the three, I do feel like I played the best game here. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Robbie. Let's get over to David.
This has been a very fun night. I enjoyed it, and this game has been super fun too. I am not like Robbie and Simona in a lot of ways, especially in this game. I do not have a ton of experience playing in orgs. This is only my second ever, and I have loved it, and it's been a blast. I don't know whether or not I'm going to keep playing after this. The result is not important. In deciding whether or not I will, but I just don't think I'm ever going to find people who are as cool and interesting and nice as all of you, genuinely. Like, I still think about conversations that I had with you guys, like Lori, for example, when you were talking to me about your granddaughter's friend who's gay and some of the struggles they were having. It really resonated with me, and I still think about them, and I genuinely care about all of you. Even you, Jack, which I don't know if you think that I do, but I do. And which I, again, have to say thank you because you allowed me in some ways to get here. And I'm very happy that I became the Dragon Slayer, especially considering how we heard how many votes you would have gotten and you would have won. So all of you, I'm genuinely excited to have a great relationship with all of you after this. Randy, I want to be on your podcast. Mike, my Connecticut brother, you know I'm going to come see you. Lady K, you are a life changer in so many ways, and I just adore you. Lori, like I said, we have a great connection, and I definitely want to hang out with you at some point in the future. And you too, Madison. Out of everybody here, Madison and Jenny especially, I wish I got to know more because I feel like we barely had time to talk, but every single interaction I had with you was sincere and made me smile and feel like this is why I'm spending 3 hours, you know, each night doing this, because people are kind and I'm loving it. And I think that tonight I've illustrated all the things that I've done to get here. I know, Randy, you said that I stole your seat here. I'm going to have to disagree. I earned this. Robbie and Simona allowed you to be voted out, and they were definitely culpable in that regard. So, yeah, I'm proud of the game I played, and I hope that all of you are too. It's been a great season, and yeah, thank you.
All right, David. Thank you very much for that. There we have it. Gone through all the rounds. We've talked to the jury. Everyone's made their statements. All the information you could possibly gather, jury, has been given to you. Now we just need that all-important vote. So let's get on to it.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Robbie. I feel all three of them played an amazing game, but ultimately Robbie.
Oh gosh, I literally don't know. I'm gonna vote for David. Not just because he burned me the least. I feel like that's gonna come off as me being petty, but he didn't make any bad connections with anyone on the jury. I feel like no one has ill will towards him, whereas Robbie and Simona do have that with many people over there. And then he got Jack out, which I guess, I mean, like I said, we literally all were gonna vote for him, so.
It was difficult after hearing the things that both Robbie and Simona had to say. I came in thinking I was probably going to go vote for David, and I was kind of having my reservations at the beginning when I was hearing what everyone else had to say. But in the end, my vote's going to go for David.
I love all three of you guys, David, Simona, Robbie. This is a perfect 3 to wrap up the incredible season that season 5 has been. I genuinely think that there could not be a better season and a better group of people who played this. Now, in terms of my vote, you all had great points. In the end, I'm going to give it to Robbie. Kiss Jordan for me, Robbie. Congratulations, and I hope you win.
Those answers were all great. I think everyone answered it to the best of their ability. Everyone was as honest as they could be, and I think that is fantastic. However, I am a sucker for showmanship, and with the benefit of the cherry being added on, I think it's just too damn fitting. He did it. He cut the dragon and became the Dragon Slayer.
Wow, that was amazing. It's so much I want to say, but I just think Robbie should win this game. He came in with a plan, he executed it, he followed the lines. I'm casting my vote for Robbie tonight.
Wow, this is really hard, and I have 2 here, David and I have Robbie. Robbie really got me with that last speech. He played such a good game. I've been working with David this whole game. Robbie played an amazing game, and he is so deserving to win this. And I just literally coming down to the last 20 seconds, and I'm really... David got here just as well as Robbie did. Even if Robbie played a great game, David is here as well. I got to vote for my boy, David. This was not an easy vote. Robbie literally almost switched it. If Robbie wins, I'll be extremely happy for him, but I'm going to go with my friend David.
Hello and welcome everyone. Expedition Online Monteverde. We are live and we all just witnessed as David has been named the ultimate explorer for season 5. Just edging out Robbie by a vote of 4-3. I'm here with the cast of Expedition Online season 5. Unfortunately, David is not able to be with us here tonight, but a donation will be made to the charity of his choice, Cool Earth. Cool Earth exists because right now the world is in a climate crisis. The most effective way to fight back is to protect the best carbon storing technology that already exists, the rainforest. To learn more about what Cool Earth is doing, go to coolearth.org. I'm very excited to see everybody again, live here with the cast season 5 after a very unpredictable final ascent. Yeah, we learned David here sneaks away with the victory. Robbie, I want to go to you with your honest thoughts. Just hearing yourself, such a close game. What are your thoughts on the outcome here?
I've been thinking about this a lot lately, Jonathan, and while it was very close in terms of the vote, watching it back, I can say that I'm very, very proud of the game that I played, and I'm so happy that these episodes were made and you're able to see the game that I played, because I do feel like I deserve to win, but I'm also happy with the winner. When I told both David and Simona that I'd be happy with no matter who won, and I genuinely meant that. So congratulations to David. Congratulations to Simona for making it to the final. I do think that I played the best game there, but the jury has the votes, and that's who they voted for. So again, congratulations to David.
Yeah, I mean, Robbie, I'm not going to lie. From my perspective, it seemed as though you were dominating the game. You seemed to really have your pulse on what was going on, and were kind of controlling things a little bit in the background. Where do you think you lost the votes along the way?
That's an interesting question. Again, I don't know if when the question was asked, whose vote do you think you had? I didn't put my hand down for a reason because everybody here claimed to be Survivor fans before the game started, and when it came down to it, that's what I came here to play. I came here to play Survivor, and I did exactly that. I was never malice. I was never rude. I never drug anybody down, but I played the game of Survivor, so I genuinely thought that good gameplay would be rewarded, and it wasn't, so I'm not sure where I lost the votes.
Now, Simona, I have to say, you're probably the strongest zero vote finalist I've seen in one of these games. Why do you think you weren't able to garner any of the votes from the jury?
I think it was social game. You know, I think like Robbie said, I came here to play the game. I didn't come here to make friends, and I made friends, and I'm really happy for the friends and the connections that I made, but that's not why I played this game. I played this game to win, and I played this game for charity, and so I think people felt burned by the fact that I wasn't taking the time in the same ways to get to know them. My head was very much in the game, what's the vote, focused on that sense, and I think at the end of the day, you know, with this jury, that was really clearly really important, right? I think David ran away with it at the end because of those personal connections that he built, and that just wasn't a priority to me. Like Robbie said, like I said, I was there to play the game, and this jury was just looking for something different. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, you know. Like Robbie, I was worried about Robbie beating me in the end, and so I am still proud of the game that I played. I think I played very well, you know, getting to watch stuff back, and like remember that split vote that I pulled off that sent Cole home. Hi, Cole. Like I was really proud of that, and like seeing moments like that where I'm like, a good ass game, you know. At the end of the day, like the jury didn't see that, you know. I played too hard too early, lost agency at the merge, so ultimately, I think it came down to the lack of my focus on my social game, just because, like Robbie, I was hoping that I could excel in the strategic aspect, and that would ultimately be respected at the end of the day.
Yeah, it seemed to, throughout the game, you and Robbie were a very strong duo. You know, a couple times you guys voted a little bit different, but for the most part, you guys were basically a duo throughout the whole game. Do you think that ended up hurting you at the end of the game, being beside Robbie?
Yes, in some ways, no, because I got to a point around Final 7 where I knew, like, I wanted for my game and for my resume to take out both Robbie and Randy to be able to be like, look, hey, I played my own game, because those were people that I played very closely with. But it got to a point where I wasn't able to take out both of them, right? I could have taken out Robbie and sat next to Jack, but in my mind, that made less sense. So I don't know. I think you could say the same thing if Randy was sitting in that place. I sat next to the people that I felt like I was going to have the best chance playing against. And, you know, there were things that I felt like I could claim, like, you know, being able to say, you know, I gave my idol to Randy. If I was sitting next to Randy, that kind of loses its star power at the end. And so I think, or my compass, sorry, out of it. But I think, oh my God, what was the question? Sitting next to Robbie. I think in some ways, yeah, sitting next to Robbie hurt my game, because I think if I'd been sitting next to maybe someone else, that I could have gotten those votes that Robbie got, but like the options for who that other person weren't too great either at that end point of the game. So I don't regret it at all. And I respect the hell out of Robbie's game. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, we will have a few more questions for you guys, as well as the jury members. But before we get to that, we do have the winning captain for season 5 with us, as Steven Fishback is going to join us. Just give me 1 second. A live stream.
Friend. Oh,
hey, can you guys come join us, Jess?
What'd you say?
Can you guys come join us? All right, I have just
giving them the word there. So let's bring them in. Fishback and Coach, team captains for this season. We will be donating a part of the charity pot to their charities as well as David's charity. And there he is himself, Steven Fishback, winning captain of Season 5 Expedition Online. David has just been named the winner of this season. Unfortunately, David not with us. But what was your perspective of things there, Steven? Did you catch a lot of the episodes?
I did certainly see that final tribal, which was like so powerful, and I mean, you guys all did so fantastically. Robbie, I thought that the argument was, I ever a key part of your game? Like, what an interesting way of framing it. I've never heard that kind of argument before. And I think that's a really like smart way of like positioning. Pete, that here's why people should vote for you. Obviously only 3 people did think that, but I really thought that was a great argument. I think you nailed it. Simona, I felt so much for you. I have been there. I have been in the final tribal council when everyone is telling me I'm a coattail rider, and you just have to sit there and like hold true to your game, even as you like get those knocks. And you did so amazing. I was so impressed by your courage and your stoicism, and what a great job you did presenting your game and sort of talking about the moves that you made, even as you could clearly see that people were not hearing it. And I think you did awesome. And obviously David came with a totally different version of the strategy. Maybe you guys had more blood on your hands than he did, because he never had that sort of core group controlling the game like you did. And that worked for him. And he congratulations, David. I mean, truly, like, he came from on the bottom of his group, right, just like bouncing around and then into victory. And really happy for David, and I'm really happy that get to give this money to Martha's Table, which is a fantastic charity in the DC area that helps families in need.
Yeah,
and jury, like, awesome questions. There were so many great questions from the jury. I'm sorry, what a great, I didn't actually watch the episodes, but I did watch that final tribal, and I felt like I got the whole scope of the game and all the personalities, and thank you very much for letting me be a small part of it.
That's awesome. Were you able to have any communications throughout the game with any of your team members? Did anyone surprise you with some of their strategic thinking at all?
Oh my gosh, like these emails I would get from Robbie, Simona, Randy, David as well. But every night, a few of them, like, I would get these like 6-paragraph emails from all of them at once. I would like wake up, and it would be such a delight. It was like such a thrill in the morning to like see them like parsing together like the crazy tribal councils, crossroads that happened. And Holden and I corresponded a little bit. I mean, and that was it was so fun to get to like be a small part of the strategy.
And from your limited view of Expedition Online, how do you think this experience compares to Survivor, something that you've done a couple times?
I mean, I really think the strategy of the online games is as easily as complex, if not more complex than the strategy of the in-person games, because there's so much, when you're out there, you're starving, you can't really do that much, and then you can't think straight, and it's this like really it's so compacted that honestly, in my first time in Token Chains, it's like we were counting, okay, there's 4 of us and there's 3 of them, so I guess we're gonna do well here. And to see the complexity of these moves, hats turning back. I never even thought to turn a hat backward. I didn't have a hat. There's so many great, brilliant strategic moves that you guys are making.
That's awesome. Would you ever play? Could we ever get you into a game?
I mean, I'm about to have a second child, but otherwise I would say yes. I don't think that's in the cards for me in the near future. Maybe in the distant future.
Congratulations on the second child. That's exciting news for sure.
Yeah, well, thank you guys very much. And again, thank you so much for having me. Congrats to Robbie, Simona, and David, and congratulations to David, who obviously can't be here. And congrats to all the jury. I mean, obviously, what a hard-fought game, and to make it to the jury phase is its own achievement. And then to be eliminated because you're a big threat, like, obviously an honor, like an annoying honor, but an honor nonetheless. Yeah.
That's
All right, well, thank
awesome,
you.
Steven. Yeah, no, well, we really appreciate having you. I mean, it really adds a little something extra to the experience, especially with your participation. I know your team really appreciates it. And yeah, so do we here at Expedition Online. So thanks a lot for being a part of it.
Thank you so much. It was truly my honor, and thank you all and all the players. It was really, really, really fun for me. Thank you. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much for stopping by, Steven. Now, back with our cast there. Robbie, I mean, Steven said himself that he had some communication back and forth with him. How helpful was that?
It was very helpful, especially in times. I think they call it the golden crossroads, the Holden crossroads. I'm pretty sure all of us might have sent Fishback an email after that night specifically, but I know mine was probably longer than the 6 paragraphs. I was freaking out, like I fucked up my game so bad. Fishback, what do I do here? And it's instances like that where you're grateful to have such a great captain who is available, both like responding in a timely manner and just being there for you emotionally when you're having these meltdowns about crazy moments in the game. I really enjoyed it, and having Fishback as a captain was truly a highlight of the season.
And Simona, you also got mentioned there. Do you think that had an impact on helping you get it all the way to the end?
Yeah, I mean, I think like Robbie said, it's nice to have someone who you feel like is in your corner, especially in those moments where you're like, what just happened? Like, what do I even do next? And yeah, I don't know. I think Steven's insight was very helpful. You know, he's very like knowledgeable about the game. He's very much like a survivor encyclopedia. And so to kind of get to see his different perspectives on certain strategic decisions was really, really helpful. Just because, you know, there's definitely a point where I get like set in my ways a little bit, and then to hear from someone like Steven about like this is a cool alternative, it's like it definitely helpful and helps give good perspective on the game. But yeah, Steven's also just like awesome. So getting to just like email him and like get responses from him was definitely like a highlight of the experience for me, honestly. Like he's super cool. Yeah, I'm so grateful he was my coach.
Uh, well, what led me to Nava, Robbie, and Simona, and what led me to vote David? I think for me, I'm a story kind of guy. I enjoy kind of putting a point on an arc. I analyze Edgic, I do all that kind of stuff. That's my thing. And so I like to see stories go up, stories go, and then stories end. I didn't feel like I had the greatest and most defined story with Robbie or Simona, and I didn't feel like it was truly like we had a real arc to that. We were playing the game. We were playing the game together. I just didn't feel like we had a true beginning, middle, and end. Whereas with David, it was rather clear to me. And in that moment, I was like, okay, looking at the three of them, David has got the best arc in relation to me and has also played a good enough game to support it, where I was like, all right, I think I'm going to vote David here. Now, this is going to get really interesting because we've been here a while. We've been waiting for a while for this to air, for this to end. I regret my vote. I do. I wish I voted Robbie. I wish Robbie was the winner. I don't even lie. I felt I made a mistake. It wasn't for like a month and a half, 2 months, but as the semester started for school, I was thinking about it, and I was like, honestly, the arc thing is a good argument, but I really just should have valued the game player in me and voted for Robbie because I do think he did play the best game. And so I missed the mark on that. I'm sorry, Robbie. But yeah.
I mean, Robbie went to go cry, but I mean...
I'm sorry, Robbie.
No, there he is. I'm just messing with Robbie. No, I mean, in the moment, it is what it is, right? And David somehow was able to sway you in what seemed like an impossible situation at the time. But I mean, there's definitely some validity to the story arc, because you guys had that back and forth a couple times. You've seen you guys in rooms where you're just like, I'm just not voting for you. I'm just not voting for you. And then, of course, you guys even had a conversation where David said, if you get to the end, I'm not voting for you in no way, shape, or form. And you even said to him, you're like, I might, like, why not? Like, I mean, so I that was a very interesting story arc throughout the game for sure. So I do want to get to Mike. I mean, Mike, in the episode, it comes down to your deciding vote. I think that's because you were so back and forth. You even had both names written on both sides. What was it that pushed you over to the David vote?
I think at the time when I was playing the game, me and David got along very well. We were working together until we couldn't work with each other. His bond with Robbie was stronger, and me and him just talked a lot about life, and he was my friend in the game. And I was just really happy how far he made it, because I didn't think he'd make it that far. So that's the reason I voted for him, because I was just proud that he made it, and I was happy to see him there. Watching it back, kind of like what Jack says, as a player, you don't know everybody's game. You just dissect it from what you see with your eyes. Now, as a fan's perspective, when you look at the comments, when you look at people saying, how could David ever win? What are you doing? David was a very good personable person. He got to know people. He played the game, but he also got you as a person. So I don't regret voting for him for that reason. But if we are going strictly on gameplay, and I'm so impressed, and I've said this so many times with Simona and Robbie. They just played such a good game, and I learned so many more things about them as a game player that it blew my mind away. And I've even messaged these two separately and be like, when I watch you guys, like, I want to learn because I'm so impressed. So I think if I did vote now, I probably would vote Robbie just because he played a brilliant game. But Simona is a close two. I don't think she gets the credit she deserves. I think we were a little harsh on her at Tribal Council. I took it personally that she didn't get to know me, but maybe it came out harsh, and I apologize to her. But I do think Robbie would get my vote right now, but Simona is a close second because they just really played this game masterfully, and I give all the credit to them. And as the fans, I just want you to know, like, you don't see everything the player does, so like it might not make sense to you, but David was very close to people, and I think that's why he got the vote at the end.
No, absolutely. I mean, you just have the one perspective, right? Sorry, yeah. Who was that?
Me.
Oh, go ahead, Rob.
I find it interesting because throughout the episodes we do see that there was criticism of both games, right? There was confessionals where Mike is like, "What is David doing?" type deal. So in the game, you did see my gameplay. Jack, I told you I would have given you my vote because I cheered for your underdog story, and we shared that in a room together where we had these moments. So I just think it's so interesting now that after you voted, you would change your vote. I think you should both stick to the vote that you cast and be proud of the vote that you cast. I think it's a little BS now looking back, seeing like how it all played back and seeing the reaction from like fans and stuff that you would have switched your vote because I think you both saw the games being played at the time throughout, like, while watching your confessionals back. I thought it was very evident that you saw the differences in games and how Jack or how you were treated, Jack. So it's like weird to hear you try to change up now.
Yeah, let me say, I don't do anything for the fans. Like, I'm a showman. I'm kind of an ass at times. I don't do anything for the fans, okay? I'm not that type of person. So I did not say here that I would have changed my vote to you in hindsight because of the fans. I would have changed my vote because seeing how it was edited and how you played the game and how you talked about the game, I would have voted for you because of that. At the time, at that final tribal council, I believed David's story was the best, and that is why I voted for him. So please do not say I changed my mind now or a few months ago because of the fans. I did not.
Yeah, I can kind of piggyback off that, and I respect everything you just said, Robbie. I think I didn't know how amazing of a game you were playing until I saw it fully live and see the conversations that I would never have seen unless I watch it back. So I don't mind that I voted David because that's how I felt in the moment. But I just respected you and Simona's gameplay 10 times more, and I saw how deserving you guys were to win. So I'm not changing my vote. Obviously, you can't do that. But I just respect you more, and you're just deserving to be a winner because you played so well when I saw things through a fan's lens. That's all I was saying.
Okay, just kind of switch it up. I want to actually switch things over to Randy because Randy, in your roundtable, you were the conversation was kind of you were gearing a little bit more, I think, on the Simona side, but you're a little more anti-Robbie. You felt a little bit burned by him, and then it was kind of surprising because where a lot of people didn't flip their vote to Robbie, you actually ended up flipping your vote to Robbie. It seems in the final Ascent. You want to talk a little bit about that?
There was one major thing that Robbie had to do at the final Ascent to get my vote, and that was he had to apologize. And I said this, Robbie, I don't know if you heard it. Can't remember if we talked about it, at any point. But while I don't feel I needed an apology, like you didn't need to apologize to me. It's part of the game. But to kind of calm my feelings about how my elimination went down, I needed that to kind of get over it. That was like the final step for me to get over it. So while I didn't, like I said, you didn't have to apologize because honestly, I don't need one because it's part of the game. I was really hoping you did in that final speech, but my vote was Simona all the way up until the final question where Ginny asked, who would you replace in the final three, and who would you replace them with? And that was the final dagger when she didn't say me because I thought we played the game so closely that I don't know. You can call it petty. I agree it's probably petty, and I apologize. But it was just, it hurt, and it was like, wow, after everything we did this entire game, after every vote we worked together, the whole idol fiasco, at that point, I mean, Robbie stroked my ego a little bit and said I would replace David with Randy in the final three, and that's what locked up the vote for Robbie. I would have never voted for David. I love David to death. We work together now. We're great friends. I would have never voted for David because the people who played the best game all season, it was Robbie and Simona. And yes, it could be seen differently because I played with them, but that's how I saw the season. So Robbie won it on that last vote, or that last comment.
Okay, very interesting. Lady K, I think I'm going to go to you next. I just want to ask you, you guys had a final six, Robbie and Simona included in that, and you were probably preaching the hardest to keep this final six together. How did you ended up in the final six? I'm interested to know kind of where you saw the game going because it seemed like your game was really reliant on getting to that six. Is that accurate, first and foremost? And if so, where were you going from there?
Like, I'm a numbers person, and I go back, and that's why my game hasn't shifted. My comments are never going to go back. We have to stay loyal to the numbers, and I'm not even going to take that back. If we would have kept it to the six, then I can kind of cut throat. Robbie gave me life when he said, I asked him straight up, who are you here for? Me. We cutting throats in this game. There's only one winner, period. So after the six, we get here, we cut throats, we win, it's over. Was that my mistake in this game? Yes, because Simona was doing some things underhandedly. She was playing both sides of the tables. I was not able to see that. And the other part of that is where I thought I was closer to Robbie, though I'm his jilted bride. He didn't give me that information, and I thought I had a piece of that too. So there are some things that some of the other jury members said, like you see things, you know things. I felt like I had a really good pulse, but there were some key points that I was missing, and it made me misstep, getting a few steps closer to where I needed to be. So I'm still going to ride hard to the six, not because of who they were, but because of the numbers. And I just needed the numbers to get a little bit closer.
Were you surprised at all with the outcome of tonight's vote?
to be completely honest, no. I'm not. I knew that my vote wasn't going to change. But I feel that um someone spoke about the comments with Simona, and again, you guys don't know everything that goes on behind closed doors. And we are people in these games, right? We all come in with expectations of how we want to play and who we consider to be winners at the end. So when Simona says that the jury was not happy about getting to know people, to me, that's a key part of the game. You have to be integral about getting to know people. You don't got to know everything about me, but there has to be some type of connection along with your strategic game, along with your competition wins to end you for my vote in the seat. Now, other people maybe not so much, but as online reality, we kind of got to realize that different people have different perspectives. So at the end of the game, I'm not completely surprised. This jury was kind of everywhere, as was this game. So hey, congratulations, David. I'll go back on what Mike said, and I believe Jack also. You all deserve to be here. But Robbie, you should have took me. Now we're both at the altar.
Awesome. Now I want to go over to Madison. First thing I need to know, Madison, is has Jack successfully stolen your boyfriend?
Yes, yes, he has. I am just like so shocked that that was like a genuine concern about like gameplay. Like that is what baffles me.
That shocked me too. That was probably the funniest thing out of this season. Like the fact that me and Richie actually became a plot line was so funny because I was just fucking around. I was just messing. I was just messing with the guy. Like it wasn't anything serious at all. I just found it so funny. It was awesome. I love it.
And after like when the episode aired, I think it was my vote out or whenever it was about like David like going around telling people that like, oh, Jack and Madison Richie sent like David a message saying, "Oh, I would have said that you were my boyfriend too if we had gotten that close after it."
Oh no, it was definitely one of my favorite storylines of the season for sure. The bromance that was developing there. Madison, your vote also went over to David. Let's talk a little bit about your decision there.
Yeah, I don't know. I was butthurt. I'm not gonna lie. I was picking up the pieces and I was like, he's just like a good guy. Like I helped him out and, screwed me over, but I mean, worked out for him. So, and then I think just the fact that like he was able to genuinely make connections. I mean, I feel like me and Robbie had gotten close and then Robbie stabbed me in the back. Me and Simona never, no hate, nothing, no bad blood there. But we just never got super close. And I was like, oh, me and Robbie, we're like both from Florida. Like we can make this work. And then that didn't happen. So I was like, oh, David it is.
Oh, I see. I mean, it's the little things along the game sometimes that can just make that difference, especially when things are a little bit tight. Now, Lori, close connections has kind of been a theme here for a lot of the David votes that he was able to kind of make those relationships. I know you were really close with David. You end up voting for him at the end. Do you think his social game is really what kind of pushed him over the edge here?
I think it is. I think David went above and beyond with trying to make those genuine connections with people. And in the end, I think that's what won him the game. And I know that both Jack and Mike had said that they would change their vote at this point. Although I do think that Robbie and Simona both played a good game after watching back the episodes of the season. I got to see a lot of things, a lot of gameplay that I wasn't a part of that made me realize what a good game they did play. However, I still don't think that they played a better game than he did. I still would have voted for David, even having all of the information that I have right now. After watching all of the episodes of the season, my vote wouldn't change. I think he deserved to win.
Oh, absolutely. That's a completely fair opinion. I mean, it's that kind of game where like it comes down to the jury that is set and their decision. And at the end of the day, you have to convince those 7 people, not the hundreds or however many people are watching. It's just about the 7 people who played the game, who had the experience. Now, also having the experience of the game with us, we do have a couple members of our pre-jury with us. Holden and Cole, I know you guys were watching throughout. You probably have your strong opinions. Who wants to jump in here first with their thoughts on what happened here tonight? I'm going to pick. All right, I'm going to go over to Cole. Love to hear what you have to say here.
Well, hi, Divas. First of all, amazing season. You guys are all icons and legends. What I find interesting is that the whole concept of like strategy versus social seems to be like the recurring theme. And as someone who was voted out, right before the merge, it was something that I always sat with where I was like, what is going to be the pivoting factor, right? I think Robbie and Simona absolutely ate down the house boots. They definitely played a super strategic game. They had all of us swindled. But then you think about David, who truly was very, very social. I mean, even I didn't even play with David. We kikied after the season, and I built a connection with them from like that quick little moment that Randy, David, and I were on the little the mountaintop or whatever it was. And I think that's really interesting because we go into these games, and this is my first game that I ever played, so I had no idea what I was doing and how to navigate it. But we go into these games, and I think we're so gung-ho that we forget as humans, myself included, that we're playing against other humans, and that social cues, psychology, all of that jazz is super, super important. So if you're gonna stab someone in the back, you got to do it in a way where they're so gracefully falling in their grave that they're like, you know what? Worth it. And I think that's something that we all learn and grow from, is just being like, how can we really navigate this? But I think, honestly, y'all all ate down. It was so fun to watch without the stress of being like, did my vote count on the jury? I just get to watch all the tea and all the drama. But I think it's very interesting that the comment of social keeps coming up. And I do think that a lot of us, as much as we want to say we didn't, we played very, very emotionally as a cast, and we held certain things to certain precedents from the past and led them all to the end. So I think that's just a good reminder that social is key at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely a social game. Holden, you had tight relationships with Robbie and Simona throughout the game, went out in that epic crossroads where it was between you and Randy. What was your perspective on how the game ended up, and your thoughts on the final Ascent and the outcome here?
As far as outcome goes, I was incredibly surprised that Simona didn't catch any votes. Just as a Survivor fan, that's the pitch that wins so many seasons. She was in the perfect position. It is unfortunate how strong everyone she was sitting against, but that's the pitch that wins this game, unfortunately. And David really did have a very social connection with everyone in this game. Unfortunately, I didn't play long enough we swapped away from each other. But as a game player, I was very surprised at in the outcome in general. I was a little. No, never mind. I'll cut it there.
All right. Although now I'm super curious on what that extra little add-on was going to be. But I guess we'll move forward there. Robbie, we've heard a lot from the jury, from Cole and Holden. What are your thoughts after kind of a few minutes here now to consume what everyone said?
I have no thoughts on what was said here. I just want to say thank you to the production team and the cast. I genuinely did have a great time with everybody on the cast from start to finish. Proud you all did an amazing job. I can't recommend this game enough. If you have not played a season of Expedition Online, please fill out the application, send in your video. You will not regret it. You get an awesome chance to interact with survivors, great cast. I've made so many great connections outside of this game, and I'm truly just grateful for the opportunity. So thank you for having me.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for saying all that, Robbie. You didn't have to do that, but greatly appreciated. Simona, what are your thoughts after taking a moment now to consume it all. Some very nice thoughts from some of the members of the jury. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I ultimately, like, I agree. You know, I'm not sitting here trying to be like, I'm mad I didn't catch votes. Like, the winner of the game, right, is the person that the jury decides to vote for. And I do agree that this jury voted very personally and very much based on social connections. But like that's valid, you know what I mean? And I, as a player who was trying to win, should have read that better and focused more on the social aspect of the game. And like that's my bad. And so I'm not bitter in any regard. Like Robbie said, like this was such a great experience for me. Getting to meet all of you has been really wonderful, and I've connected with a good number of you outside of the game. And in a lot of ways, this game has really impacted me. But yeah, I mean, I have no ill will towards anyone here. Do I agree with the outcome? I don't know. I understand the perspective that David's like social game was really, really strong, and I do also think that like the number of times that he voted for Jack was like absolutely insane. And like as a juror, I would have been like, you voted for the same person every time and made some pretty irrational decisions. And I do think David has that awareness of his own game. Going into the end, he was not expecting to win really either. And coming away from it, I don't think he was really expecting his game to be respected as much as it was. So that's kind of my take. I think the jury's votes were valid, and like from my position in the game, like I wouldn't have voted that way. I was like, maybe I'll be in a position to break a tie, and like I probably would have voted for Robbie in that position, just if I was voting. But yeah, overall, like really grateful for this experience and to have met all of you. And yeah, I mean, thank you to production. Like Robbie said, I echo literally everything he said. And I'm excited to see what's next.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much. You're both definitely deserving finalists. Either one of you winning would have been a great outcome as well. And yeah, I mean, I think that will just about wrap it up for the reunion portion here. Now, make sure you do stay tuned for the raffle that's happening in just a few moments. But before they get that, I want to send out a big thank you to the entire cast of Season 5. It was a very exciting, unpredictable, wild season. Yeah, I couldn't see where anything was going on a production side. It was a lot of fun to watch. And yeah, I want to thank our legendary coaches, Fishback and Coach. And their involvement just makes this experience that much better. So great to see them come out as much as they did. I personally want to thank all the moderators who helped make this happen. We got a team filled with past players. We're all volunteers, take their time and effort out to just kind of keep this crazy hobby of ours going. I personally want to send a huge shout out to Jess Martin, Shane Burns, and Jess Herbeck. Without those three, none of this happens. Jess with the challenges, Shane with all of the compass hiding and all the twists and setting up all the schedule, all of that. And then you've got Jess setting up the cast, setting up all the marketing, setting up the legendary coaches as well. It just isn't the same situation without them. So yeah, big shout out to all of them as well. And of course the players. I think I already said that, but honestly, one of the best seasons that we've had. And yeah, this has been Season 5 Expedition Online Monteverde. I've been the host, Jonathan Dykes. We will see you next time. Once again, stay tuned for the raffle in just a minute. Hello, we are back for the raffle for Season 5 Monteverde. I've got the winner of Season 1 with me, Jess Martin. Thanks for stopping by. What do you say? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. Happy to be here. This was an amazing season. We raised some great money for some great charities. So get to the prizes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, wild season, wild reunion too. That thing's got a little spicy there. What were your thoughts of the outcome on the season?
I love some spice. It was a fun season to watch. I mean, I still hold true to my winner pick. But good job, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know what's going to happen when it gets down to that jury. So, yeah, definitely a great season. So let's get right to this raffle. That's what the people are waiting for here. It's been a long night. So we are going to start things off with maybe one of our better items if you're a huge Survivor fan, and we saw him tonight. Let's start with the Zoom call from Stephen Fishback.
All right. Bill McGrath, you're going to chat with Stephen Fishback.
Awesome. Bill McGrath, definitely, has he won one of our minis? I know he's been deep a few times. Definitely a finalist to Garrett that one. Yeah, runner-up, but definitely a strong player in this game. Congratulations to you, Bill. Let's get to our second item here. Let's go to our other Zoom call with our other coach. Coach!
We've got Season 4 alum Haley Picano. Holly Picano.
Awesome. Haley, going to get a Zoom call and a pep talk from the one and only coach. That should be a whole lot of fun there. Our next item that we have up is our custom pop by Todd Herzog. I'm not saying his name right.
That's right. Good job, Jonathan.
Yeah, nailed it. Didn't know it.
Greg Langstein.
Hey, way to go, Greg.
The reunion tonight. Congrats.
That's awesome. That'll be really cool. Yeah, Todd, he makes a lot of like those art things, right? I know he's got a Instagram there. What is it? Todd's Pop Shop. So TODDSPOPSHOP. So yeah.
You can get one yourself or your favorite Survivor player.
Yeah, why not? Why not? All right, let's go to our next item, the Survivor Immunity Idol of Choice. That's from @FreakLikeMeEtsy. So spelled like it sounds.
Leonard Lanovich, congratulations. You're getting an awesome idol. I want to shout out the Freak Like Me Etsy. Lisa donates every year, and her props are amazing. They look like they should be right on the show.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool item to have for your family Survivor game. Let's go to our next item, Survivor Go to Rocks set. So let's check that out.
This is from Outcast Originals. Josh, who played Season 3, makes these. Pierce
Very cool.
Abiso. You can draw some rocks. Don't get the black one.
Awesome. Taking that home. Some really awesome prizes here. Let's go to our next one, a pair of Costa sunglasses. Oh, any pair retail $300. Quite an item here.
Mm-hmm. Dixon Wong. You're getting some shades.
The master of mayhem himself, Dixon Wong, taking that prize home. He is going to enjoy that for sure. Now, we've got two of these. Favorite item, as you can see, repping a whole bunch of it myself. We have the EO merch prize pack. So, two of them, let's do them back to back here before we get to our final item of the evening.
First, we've got Cameron Couch. Congratulations.
Awesome.
Cam played one of our minis. And Ned Heckman. Congratulations. Thanks for watching EO.
Sweet. Ned and Cam going to be decked out for their next appearance on EO. Can't wait to see those applications coming in. All right, so now we have our last and final item. One of our favorite items here at Expedition Online. Former captain Adam Klein offering a 45-minute Survivor audition review. This is actually something Adam does as part of a business, and has been pretty successful with some of his clients. So definitely something to look into. Jess, who's going to be taking home this awesome prize?
This is a very popular prize, and we're super thankful that Adam donated it. The winner of this is our Season 2 winner, Justin! Go get him!
Oh, sweet, Justin. If you haven't seen Season 2, you have to go watch what Justin does to the cast of Season 2. As he,
It's a must-watch.
oh, mastermind material there. So very excited that he's going to be getting that chance to spend some time with Adam. Hopefully he gets himself on the island and can prove what we've already seen strategically from him. So looks like that is all of the items that we have for tonight's raffle. We want to send a big thank you out to anyone who bought any raffle tickets, donated any kind of money to this season. Definitely a great showing on that end. Jess, what are the numbers to this point? You can still donate. We have the link in the bio. We're going to take donations for this season all the way up until 12 p.m. So make sure you jump on that as time is flying. But Jess, where are we at?
Yeah, so again, thank you to all of the vendors who donated. We really appreciate your support. We right now have in the charity prize pot $3,205. That is going to be split. 70% of the pot will go to the winning captain and explorer. So David's charity Cool Earth and Steven's charity Martha's Table will be getting about $1,100, and Coach will be getting about $960 for the Susanville Symphony. So some awesome prizes. Again, like Jonathan said, the donation link is still open to the end of the night. Thank you for joining us, and thanks for your support.
Yeah, awesome. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe for more details, some extra bonus content coming, but also for future seasons. We're going to have some mini